Man, do I have fond memories of the old video stores of the 80s. My family had multiple memberships at different stores throughout the city because some shops carried some of the films I would see in Fangoria, while others didn't. I was a little kid, but my mom let me roam the horror aisle, drooling over the cool box art and picking out films I was definitely too young to watch. Seems I'm not the only one who feels those warm waves of nostalgia when thinking about those old mom-and-pop VHS stores. Filmmakers Cody Kennedy, Tim Rutherford, and Joshua Roach seem to know that feeling well and reproduce it wonderfully in The Last Video Store. Let's talk about it. The Last Video Store is new streaming on Arrow from Black Fawn Distribution. I'm putting the link to Arrow down before the comments. It's directed by Cody Kennedy and Tim Rutherford and written by Joshua Roach and Tim Rutherford. After receiving a bunch of videotapes that need to be returned to the last open video store in Canada, Nyla, played by Yaya Adams, finds herself in the middle of a bizarre adventure with the owner of the store, Kevin, played by Kevin Martin, when one of the tapes turns out to be the dreaded Videonomicon. When they play the tape, Nyla and Kevin find themselves in a heated battle of survival against a trio of characters ripped straight from vintage videos in the tight confines of the video store. I try to avoid reviews of films before watching, but it's inevitable that many of them will read The Last Video Store is a love letter to the VHS era, or something cliched like that. Being the rebel that I am, I will not use that descriptor, even though it's pretty accurate. Instead, I'll call The Last Video Store a warm, sloppy, low hug for that long-lost time when VHS ruled the earth. If you remember those bygone days when it was kind to rewind, or if you missed out on that time and just want to be cool and nostalgic, you're going to find something in this movie that will warm your heart. It's no surprise, since some of the people behind the best retro horror flicks of the last decade or so have something to do with this movie. Steve Kostanski, Matthew Kennedy, and Adam Brooks, the guys behind the Grindhouse spoof Father's Day, the Giallo Funhouse, the editor, the ode to 80s sci-fi action, Manborg, the cosmic mindfucker The Void, and the sublimely fun take on Amblin, Psycho Gorman, end up being in front of or behind the camera in The Last Video Store. While this group of uber-talented individuals didn't direct or write The Last Video Store, their unique style of humor, gore, and love of genre cinema shines through. Filmmakers Cody Kennedy, Tim Rutherford, and Joshua Roach feel like a wonderful extension to the team of Kostanski, Kennedy, and Brooks. They know how to make a small budget feel big by keeping 99% of the action inside the video store. While it might be goofy having people hiding in the aisles of videotapes in what looks to be a very small store, from giant mantis aliens, a Jason Voorhees knockoff, and the unnatural offspring of Chuck Norris and Jean-Claude Van Damme, this crew makes it all work with some clever camera trickery, a script and story that never stops moving, and a cast of two very charismatic actors. While both Kevin Martin and Yaya Adams are relatable as Kevin the store clerk and Nyla the sole patron of the store, the real standout is Josh Leonard, who plays Viper, the aforementioned Van Damme Norris clone. I love the arc this character takes once he comes to the realization that he's a character from a videotape and must confront not only that slap in the face, but also the criticism of his films plastered on the boxes and in magazines throughout the store. It really is a fun meta take, reminiscent of films like The Last Action Hero and JCVD. While small in scope, The Last Video Store still manages to tell a big and bawdy tale spanning a decade or so of genre cinema. The scenes of gore, action, suspense, and carnage are potent while aping the style of those low-budget genre films of the past. Blood spatters everywhere, and the Jason Voorhees knockoff, played by Leland Tilton, is the best Jason we've seen on film in years as he slashes his way around the store. Though Ry Barrett did a fantastic job of basically playing Jason in A Violent Nature too. It all goes wonderfully cosmic during the climax, utilizing some sweet-ass stop-motion animation, along with all kinds of trippy visuals. The VHS videotape and the stores that rented them were a prominent staple in the genre of horror. Those days when the video box was the key to renting a movie and experiencing the film meant a bit of rewinding, maybe a thing of the past, but the last video store does a fantastic job of representing those good old days. It tells a story that is just as relevant and entertaining today, using everything we loved from those movies from way back then. The Last Video Store comes highly recommended from me to those who remember renting videos and those who think back fondly of those simpler times. Do you guys remember those video stores of old? Let's get nostalgic and talk about them down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're inside that